That's where we're starting. Liverpool. Very poor game. Not terribly enjoyable. Amazing goal to win it from Dominic Soboslai. Bodes well for Ireland. He's
Screw you, we've got Ryan Manning.
Yeah.
He's done it twice, buddy.
He has, yeah. True enough. Yeah, strange game. I don't like, again, I kind of said it before, don't like that it was the third game of the season. It still feels like, even though it kind of is like, this should feel, you know, sort of momentous, but it just doesn't. Because it's like, I wouldn't be too disheartened if it was an Arsenal sport this morning.
But Arsenal didn't bring it.
No.
Arsenal were waiting for Gatto all day. They had
Yeah.
one shot on target. A bit like the Manchester United game, played poorly away from home compared to what you might be expected from a title-winning team. It was a nearly performance from Arsenal. They played the conservative midfield, Marino, Bemand and Rice. Rebus Eze brought him on. Look, obviously they got injuries. Saliba got injured earlier on. Saka was out. Odegaard didn't come on until the second half, but just didn't feel that they went for it. Liverpool took a risk with the fact that they played Szoboszlai right back, and then they decided to up the tempo in the second half and go for it. And you could feel that a goal was coming, and eventually did come. Now, the goal was a worldie, and it was a goal to win any game. But for Arteta to say, look, it was just settled by a moment of magic is a little bit of a deflection from the fact that they didn't really bring it. They didn't go there and try and really go and attack the game to win the game. They played within themselves.
Somebody in the comments is asking, did Liverpool bring it? I don't think Liverpool are in good form at the moment. It looked like Arsenal were in reasonable form and had the opportunity to maybe strike something important.
Make a statement. As they said on their social media beforehand, you don't make a statement with the conservative midfield. And obviously, look, they were unlucky with the injuries, but Gyökeres didn't get any change out of Van Dijk and Konate. And you'd hope that maybe, like you've signed Eze, play him. Go for it. Yeah. And Arsenal didn't really... Arsenal were hoping maybe to get a draw or maybe a 1-0 win with their set pieces, and they got outdone by a set piece.
This is true. I do think that there are questions about Liverpool's midfield and the difference that it was last season, the trio, the high-energy, high-octane trio that they had last season, when you put Wirtz in for Szoboszlai, it's just a very different thing.
I would back Arne Slot to work it out, though, to win a league title in his first season, and maybe it was the fact he was dealing with Klopp's raw materials. But it's interesting, he had a bit of a cut off Jamie Carragher. He said he was joking, but in the post-match interview after the game yesterday, well, Jamie's was better than what Jamie was expecting because we didn't concede today. So I think he's good at working it out. But I do think, though, it's been a strange start to the season that everybody seems to have issues. Liverpool have obviously issues in their balance of the team, the shape of their team, new players coming in. Arsenal have issues in that. I'd say at home they'll be very good. They'll be very good against weaker teams because they're so well organised. But where's the backup for example, for the likes of Saliba? And, how can they keep people fit? And can they go and have a Gyökeres score 20 goals a season? And for Manchester City, they've got 3 points from 9, and that's generally, you don't win league titles with such a poor start. So every team seems to have issues. Chelsea got 2 wins and a draw from 3 games. But I think Slot did say it, you're not going to have a 95 point winning season for any club this season. It's just how quickly can Liverpool get their balance right and they're gelling together. And if they can get it right, and if Wirtz can start to become the player that his price tag suggests he is, then they should be okay. If
it's really tough, it's really tough to know what would have to do to warrant that. And it's that kind of weird burden that he costs so much. You can't leave him out or rotate him in and out. I think you
can.
You don't pay that kind of money.
But Isaac, when you are the champions and you sign players, you don't have to do anything. You're just collecting talent, and then you pick the talent on the basis of the games. Do you think Isak's going to play every minute of every game forever now because he's that price, or will they just there will be games where it's like Ekitike's gone out there and he's starting?
I think Isak has to start as a striker. It's all about confidence. And like for Newcastle last season, he 34 starts in the Premier League, 30 the season before, and both seasons over 20 goals. I think you have to have him in there, like just as much as you have to have Salah. And Salah's one. Salah is somebody we haven't really talked about because we haven't seen Salah ignite yet. in the first game. Obviously scored a lovely goal against Bournemouth, but you're expecting Salah to do what he did last season, 29 goals, 18 assists. No guarantee though that it's going to be exactly as good as that.
Because Ekitike is 80 million. Was that like, that's, you don't have to play him?
No,
Maybe you play him on the left instead of Gakpo.
Maybe.
I think there's a slight difference, but
There's 40 million difference, yeah. Which,
one was a record. It's obviously since been broken again. But look, I don't know. I just don't think you're. It's part of one of those things where it's probably they're obviously moving towards something. He obviously has some idea in his mind, and he kind of has the luxury of a little success beforehand.
And the money.
That he can kind of make it come to fruition. So this isn't the way the team is going to look, I suppose, in 12 months' time, probably, in all likelihood.
Yeah.
Other people will come and go and whatever else.
Mark Gahey might come as well now.
Yeah. So I see, and it's only online, but you do see some of the Liverpool supporters in the last week or two just kind of this type of thing, as if it'll be a disaster if we don't get Isak. Well, the hell, and it's like, they're in a fairly
They've certainly backed their manager.
Plush position.
Unlike other clubs.
They're in a very nice position. I'd have absolutely no concerns for them.
And Arsenal have been backed, like Gyökeres, Madueke, Zubamendi. I mean, Arteta's been backed, and just yesterday it was just too much of a to use the word of the weekend, Scott Parker's word, sterile performance from Arsenal. To sometimes you just have to have a go. And
I don't think Liverpool took many more risks though. I think it was a fairly dead end game, and then one kind of magic moment. Yeah. I do think there's a bit of truth to that. It's not like Liverpool, like it was funny, like compared to other games, like it's not like Liverpool were opening them up.
No.
At all. And they just concede a free from 30 odd yards out, right in the middle. Like it's, I don't recall many frees like it. Even the way that
I was checking the stats. In 2008 there was 41 free kicks scored, and last season, just before the end of the season, was 11 in the Premier League. Just shows the dip of it. And what we all love when we're growing up watching football, that the long range goal or the free kick that like Ronaldo against Portsmouth was something similar. That moment when, oh wow, that was amazing. And it was amazing, and it was unsavable really from Raya.
It was perfect.
I don't know if it's in the Oxford English Dictionary, that word, but anyway.
Which, all to say, I suppose, even after this morning, Liverpool are the greenest of greens. Could be no greener.
Well, if they get Mark Gahey, you're like, oh, do we have a 41st shade of green?
Yeah, I mean, it's all gone extremely well. They've gone about their business in a great way, some great sales. No issue there.
No, and they've managed to do this without spending that much money on a net. It's like they will still have more if they need it.
Now it's an interesting departure in terms of the only times they've really gone and I know irrespective of the fact that they're still making money back, but like say spending such enormous sums on individual players is like they've been game changers. So it's nearly, with the exception of Núñez, it's nearly always worked. So it'll be interesting to see. Like, does Wirtz have a Van Dijk-esque impact on Liverpool? Who knows?
We're talking about 400 million quid here.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And they've made a lot back, and they've got more benefit out of Saudi Arabia at this stage than Newcastle. But
current transfer record is minus 120 this year. Now I think that might be before the Isak deal is added to it. So
it's not out of the norm, It's kind of not standard enough at this stage. It seems.
Expenditure 340, income 210, and that's before Isak. So a lot of money.
Yeah. Fenway Sports Group put their money where their mouth is.
It is interesting because I don't think you'd do that again necessarily.
That's a club that wants to win the Champions League again,
Yeah, and
that's that ambition.
They're obviously not perfect. The decision to play Szoboszlai right back is interesting. We'll get into this maybe a bit with Jonathan Wilson. Maybe he sees him as like the natural successor to Trent, and now they're going to have somebody like Frimpong who's going to be first choice, but they have this alternative where they want that extra body in midfield, maybe to make up for the Wirtz is going to be. We're going to be super attacking here, and Szoboszlai, while he's playing right back and is nominally right back, he's also given the license to go forward and add in.
You do have Bradley as well, though.
Yeah, no sign of Bradley yesterday.
Yeah,
They were chatting to him. We were talking about this before we came on air. a long conversation at half time. Cut back to studio. Sky are like, oh, Conor Bradley looks like he's coming on. 0 minutes. 0 minutes.
More so the Nick White, Joe Schmidt kind of chat.
Exactly.
You wait a few weeks. Okay. I think we have Man United.
Oh, it has to be green, right? They've
Back.
recovered.
Oh, it's orange for me. Very much orange.
Strange day. Strange game. They were extremely good in the first half. Completely dominated. One extremely poor miss from Diallo away from being 2-0 up going in. And in isolation, that's great. That was fine. Lots to positive, lots to like there. And then the second half starts, and it's a complete thing where I'd say with what was probably their first shot on target, certainly, maybe on goal, I'm not sure, Burnley score. Just from a bit of terrible miscommunication between De Ligt and Dallo seemingly not doing what he was told to do. Space opens up, all manner of chaos, that's it. They go right back up, score at about 90 odd seconds later. Incredible with resilience. First league goal from Buemo, who was fantastic. And then let Burnley back in again. Another goalkeeping mistake, which it may well be the last time we see Altay Bayindir in goal for Man United, to be honest.
Or you see him ever again?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know where he ends up. I suppose there's no rumour yet as to where he'll go, but I believe the Turkish window stays open a bit longer. So maybe it'll be a glorious return home. And then finally, Bruno Fernandes gets a penalty at the end after a bad mistake from Jadon Antony. Like, it was just so needless to to pull Diallo down. They desperately needed a win. They got the win. At times they played extremely well, but the opponent is almost certainly getting relegated. So it's a hard one to kind of hard to square that circle.
Well, they got Manchester City next in the derby.
Which they do well in.
International
They tend to do well in that game. They won their last season.
Away from home, but that'll be more of an acid test.
It's funny, I think that won't actually... They won that game last year, and it was an absolute shocker of a game. You remember the mistake that... Who was it? Ederson was one of the new guys who'd come in, who was playing might have been playing his first game. He was playing right back, but it was a terrible mistake. They let Diallo in, and it didn't amount to a hill of beans in the end, winning that game. So I don't know. It'll kind of depend on how they play, but they're definitely... and I should say a big factor on Saturday was that Cunha went off injured shortly after the first goal was scored, and he'd been brilliant. And that impacted. And then Mount had to go off at half time, and he'd been brilliant.
Why was Mount gone off? Is he injured as well?
I think slight precautionary more so than thing. They didn't want to lose two.
And how did Manu play?
He was very effective when they were chasing for the winner. He was very effective, but at the same time, there's a lot less pressure because Burnley were obviously sitting back very deep, so there's a lot more time to do his business. But like, I don't. It would be crazy to put him in a 2.
Okay. While Šeško was obviously expensive, to the point earlier on is like they're just spending money to get players. He doesn't have to play every game, even though he was really expensive. He's a sub.
Well, they explained that. I mean, I don't think he's played... Grimsby was the first 90 minutes he'd played since April. He's had no full pre-season. And...
What was he doing instead of doing a pre-season?
I'm not sure what it was. Whatever way it worked out, I don't think he got to play a full game during pre-season. He obviously had some pre-season, but he didn't have a full whatever was the ideal.
He's going to get his chance now if Cunha's injured.
Yeah, but he didn't. The thing that explain it, to be fair, and again, whatever way you want to call it, excuse or whatever else, but I don't think the plan ever was that he'd be playing 90 minutes against Grimsby.
Right.
The same thing with Cunha, who they kind of have, whatever way they have all these metrics down to a T in terms of their the minutes that players play and everything else. The plan obviously was not for those boys to have to play 90 minutes midweek in the League Cup on a sodden pitch. And Cunha, I think just Šeško, he just said he couldn't risk it with what would have been at least an hour of the game left to go to bring him on.
just want to see some stability from Manchester United. Go on a run where you win. You win some matches where you actually keep some clean sheets. They haven't yet this season in the league. They lost 18 times last season. You just want to see stability. And the manager's body language again on Saturday was bizarre. You know, that kind of red bricked area in the dugout. He had his feet on the desk, literally. He had his runners on the top of it. He was wandering around, muttering to himself. Was looking into the sky when the penalty was being taken. He's not coming across with the Fergie control.
No,
he doesn't. Yeah, but he doesn't. He's not.
He's not sending a good message. I don't think he's sending a erratic message publicly about I'm passionate and all these kind of things. Look, he's only won 8 Premier League games. It all needs to calm down a bit, and you just need to see a bit of Manchester United be a bit boring, because we just know there's going to be another soap opera next week and another one the following week after that. It just doesn't seem. I just love to see it be the fly on the wall in that dressing room and what it's like. Love to see it be a fly on the wall, because it just doesn't seem that it is any way comparable to sides and clubs that are taking things that I would call serious clubs. United don't come across to me pretty serious.
You're not serious people.
You're not serious people.
But I do get that, but I don't know. Like, for instance, it's a very interesting dynamic in the, you take a certain degree of the historical element aside, and we'll come on to them. If Man United lost 3-0 at home to Crystal Palace, as Aston Villa did last night, it would be seen as not necessarily a surprise, but it would be like, oh my, the furore surrounding this mess of a club. Or if they'd taken, as Aston Villa have taken, who finished 6th last year, have taken 1 point from their opening 3 games, again, it would be, this is disastrous, he's got to go, he's got to be sacked, whatever else. And I appreciate the reason we're not necessarily having that conversation with Phil is because Emery's done a good job there. But also, Man United seem more susceptible in the public mind to the fluctuations of week. But that doesn't really matter anymore. Like Nottingham Forest and Nottingham Forest,
one of the richest clubs in the world.
I know, but we can. If that's all it took, then there would be no kind of discussion to have. There's obviously more nuance to it than that. It's not just about the money that you spend. Like it does.
But it is in a way, because it's like spent nearly 200 million on 3 attacking players, and obviously you can see that they're going to be beneficial to the club. But there's an imbalance there. The holding midfielder, the goalkeeper. Now, to be fair, Martinez will probably come in today.
Yeah.
But the defence, are we sure about the 3-man? The sticking to the system, the erratic nature of the manager's pronouncements. It just feels that it's just not.
He had a very good explanation for that, actually, in the build-up. He was talking about it. He was talking about the flexibility issue and the tactical issue, and where he said about basically that I need them to perfect this, and from that point we can then adapt. And I don't think that's, as a concept, that's not any dissimilar to what, completely different scenarios, but what Guardiola does at Barcelona, where it's like, or at City, wherever else, where he comes in, it's like, I'm going to instill this plan. Once this is perfected and we have it nailed on and we can do this in our sleep, then we can actually start moving things around and being more adaptive. And I think the one issue why I think that's not a bad idea is because, as people will refer back to with Ten Hag, who had a similar dogmatism in terms of his approach, didn't have the nerve to hold it, changed, and then they could do nothing. They could do nothing expertly at all. So I just think that I don't think it's perfect. I don't think Saturday's win proves anything. And they have a very tough run coming up now, where I think they have City, Chelsea, possibly Brentford away, and then Sunderland before coming back after the break and playing Liverpool.
Second break, so 4 games for the next international.
October, and then they've Spurs quite soon after that. You look at their list and it's like, oh God, there's no gimmies there at all.
The valuation of Manchester United, according to Forbes magazine, is $6.6 billion. Aston Villa's is 900 million. That's what I'm trying to say to you, is that, like, for a club of that stature and valuation, they should be much more stable than they are. Now, a lot of that's not Amorim's fault. It's 10 years of the Woodward and the Glazers and all the associated issues of the club. But it just seems to me that they just need a bit more on-pitch stability, because
I think he's trying, though. Like, I do think he's trying.
And going to Grimsby and
Yeah, but like Spurs last season, who did they nearly get knocked out of the FA Cup by?
Spurs is not a comparable club to Manchester United. I know they beat them in the Europa League final.
They're going for it. They're not comparable.
Spurs won their last league title in 1961.
Sure, but like historically, I mean, they're in the same market when it comes to managers, players.
I don't think so. I don't think from a wage perspective, like Brian Puma would have signed for Spurs then and played for his old manager if that was the case.
Perhaps not, but
42% wage to turnover ratio, you know.
I think he's doing a good job. I think he's trying something.
Manchester United fans on those YouTube comments, is he doing a good job, Ruben?
Well, you see, the fans, certainly the match-going fans, love him. You'll not hear his name is continually sang home and away. Oddly, it wasn't at Grimsby. Make of that what you will, but it was on Saturday. So I think there's a lot of warmth towards him, and I just feel like, to be honest with you, it's at this point it's so. What's the alternative?
There's always an alternative, right? The alternative is another super club manager who's done this loads. It's your Thomas Franks, it's your Oliver Glasner's.
Well, case in point, I watched a lot of that
managers out there who
Spurs game at the weekend. I mean, Spurs were carved apart by Bournemouth.
But he's had 4 games, and there's going to be games in the Premier League where teams lose. Like
when they bet City, it was Man United's great folly not getting them.
Well, I mean, it wasn't, right? That's like a straw man, where there are managers out there who are older and more mature and calmer, or they've gone for the messianic leader, and we'll see what happens. He is picking the same team week in, week out now, so everybody knows who is going to be playing when most people are fit. So we'll see. The last time, of course, Emi Martinez played at Old Trafford, he cost Aston Villa a place in the Champions League. That and the managerial or the refereeing decision. So, delighted you're getting Emi Martinez today, it looks like?
Yeah, he'll be a notable improvement. I mean, he's a bit of a lunatic, but there's a kind of. It was funny just chatting during it. To my supporting friend of mine, you're just kind of talking about that goalkeeper part of it, and you just kind of want. It was funny watching it and watching when Burnley had Dubravka, and he had a good solid game, but it was even something just in his presence. You're like, God, you want a bit of that. You want just someone who has that kind of slight level of fearlessness that I don't think. The funny thing, especially about the first goal, everything that the players seem so conscious of who's behind them and their movements, and it all kind of seems geared at protecting him. Whereas I suppose if someone like Martinez comes in, that level of worry goes down. This guy's already done sort of the biggest stuff he'll do in football. He's been on.
She saved his country from losing the World Cups.
He's got, obviously, his mentality is going to be fine. He's not going to be overawed by the prospect of playing for Man United. But look, I'm conscious of the clock.
When is Sandro Martinez back?
I don't know. Haven't heard.
January is what it says.
Obviously, he's his fellow countryman, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll be bad fellows surely in the dressing room.
I haven't seen sight nor sound of him, but we can probably forget about him. Like Eddie, he's been great when he's been great, but the injuries at this stage are just, it's kind of, he's never got a run out of it. He's never got a run at it.
Nacho's gone now, obviously.
Yeah. So where I'd put Man United
fully orange for me.
I'd lean towards green, but I'm an optimist. It seems like they're going to have a good final day today as well. If Antony's gone in a full time, that's a win. Whatever kind of money they get back from Garnacho's gone.
Jadon Sancho
I see him as being
make weight in the Villa deal.
Yeah. Good luck to him.
That would be red.
So, yeah. Well, look, speaking of which, I believe we're on to Aston Villa.
In the red.
What happened? What's happening?
They always lose to Palace. So Palace were actually the worst opponents you could possibly have. What happened was that there's no pace in the team whatsoever. There's no energy. Like the midfielders were McGinn and Tielemans. Neither of them are noted runners. Kamara and Onana were out. And they haven't added anything to the squad. So it's the exact same team that had this heartbreak at the end of last year where they all thought they were going to be on Champions League wages. That didn't happen. They're in the Europa League. The Europa League draw is meh. And they've started really poorly. Like Ollie Watkins, you were kind of hoping that maybe he'd be in the mix for the Newcastle thing, and you get a payday and you get somebody younger and slightly more prone to taking chances as opposed to missing them. And there's just been this pall of doom. They keep talking
about. It's a big hangover, isn't it? It's a big hangover.
Well, they keep talking about PSR and how it's hamstrung them. So you go into the dressing room and you're like, oh, whew, is this all we got? You know, that emits itself at some point. And you're like, these are really good players, Steve. So it'll be interesting to see now what happens. The signings haven't, like their permanent signings haven't worked. We can debate Rashford again if you want, but he had an injection, him and Asensio had an injection of energy and control and wildness to the team, which they currently don't have. They signed Malin. I'm not sure that Unai Emery actually loves him because he didn't put him in the Champions League squad and he only picked him yesterday because he had to. And he wasn't great. He's fine. But they're permanent signings.
Evan Gesson, is it?
Okay. They signed him permanently as well. He's only played 45 minutes, started yesterday again because of injuries. And so I think in our time capsule, I was like, they could be 14th this year, but win the Europa League. And that is definitely, but you're winning the Europa League on the basis that he always does it. And that's not actually true. So
ring Ange for advice.
Well, there's no better man to do it. But yeah, it's a shocker of a start. Have they scored yet?
No.
Oh God! Right.
I think Morgan Rogers' form hasn't been great.
He's been linked as well. A lot of linkage with him.
Yeah, that's what happens, I think. So Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal were all linked with him. And maybe it's turned his head and maybe he just needs to knuckle down. The transfer window slamming shut today without him going would be important.
Yeah. Well,
what's next?
It's a nice return to the mean. We have VAR. Now, I don't know if it impacted. I don't know, Ger. Obviously, you were limited in what you could watch the weekend, but certainly it affected one of the matches I was watching. John?
I turned off Match of the Day. I couldn't do it anymore. I was actually down a rabbit hole of watching Brazil's best goals in the World Cup last night at about midnight.
Any just World Cups, or
just because I wanted to see the joy of long-range goals after Szoboszlai's goal, and I was thinking to myself, when Szoboszlai scored, there was none of this second-guessing. There was none of the few minutes of a delay and a game now being re-refereed because you knew that there would, like, unless something happened in the wall or whatever, it's goal, and we can celebrate this. We can celebrate the joy of football. What is football? It's fast-paced. It's about instant gratification and joy and celebration. And that to me has been, especially in the Premier League, I feel that the application of VAR in the Champions League is done well. If you're going to have VAR in the game, unobtrusive, quick, you feel it's a low line thing. In the Premier League, it's all over the place. It's all over it's splattered all over the screen and into your consciousness because Match of the Day was just every single, like the first thing they did after the first game they did was Manchester United Burnley. Well, what about the refereeing decision for the penalty? And then the next game they do is, what about the refereeing decision? Well, we have to talk about the refereeing decision. We'd love to talk about the football. And you're having these now NFL style on-field announcements, which are absolutely ridiculous. The whole thing to me is just tedious. And now it was surely meant to be brought in for your Thierry Henrys or your Maradona moments, in addition to goal-line technology, which is great to see. That a really obvious thing will be then like brought back and then, okay, it should be, hopefully used as a last resort thing. Now the game has been re-refereed, going back in. We have to wait. Like, was there something in the build-up? Do we have to 2 to 3 minutes of this? And look, it might make the game more fair. It might remove cheating. But to me, the soul of the thing has gone out of it a bit because the spontaneity, the instantaneous nature of what football was all about, that, yes, we can celebrate this. Aguero's goal has gone in. And that's been lost from the game now, especially in England. And I feel it's a shame. I feel it's a real shame. And it's just boring. It's black and white for the sake. Like, it's the revenge of the nerds. It's Brexit. It's rubbish. And it just is dulling my enjoyment personally.
What was the game? It was the early kickoff on Saturday, was it? That everybody was absolutely mad about.
Yeah, Chelsea and Fulham.
Chelsea, Fulham, yeah.
In the long build up to Joshua King, a teenager scores in a West London derby. What a moment for him! And then they're bringing it back to now. Keith Tracy said he did think it was a foul by Muniz on Chalobah, but it was like, is this a clear and obvious error? Oh, you'd have to say it's not very clear and obvious, but they've been brought back and it's taken minutes, and it's just destroying the soul in my football loving child.
And it does.
Brain.
It does feed the conspiracy theories. Like it's like
It was
very rare that one of the really big teams has one of those happen to them in a game. It tends to be the smaller teams.
Yeah, well, it went both ways on in Old Trafford. That like there was a penalty awarded. Kyle Walker was adjudged to have fouled Mason Mount.
Let me ask the question. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, that was it. And they pulled it back, got rid of it, and then vice versa, the other way around. The Diallo penalty wasn't given, and then
Do
it
you
was.
enjoy football more with VAR in it? In the Premier League?
Do I enjoy it more?
Yes, no, neutral.
It's a tough question because it's. You see, I would be particularly annoyed about the when you would have a goal scored or whatever else, particularly if it went against the way you wanted, and then it was found out it was offside. That did annoy me a lot. I don't like the way it's necessarily done, but I do like the. There's something about I find I can be more accepting about results and such. That you're like, well, look, I mean, that's whatever it is. That's that more often than not. I thought the Fulham thing was wrong. I think that should have been a goal.
Yeah.
But I do more often than not. You're kind of like, I can rationalise this.
You yes, no, neutral, Ger?
I'm on balance think that the Champions League version of it improves things.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's English culture or whatever. I don't know. The refereeing in the Premier League has become this industry in itself. You've got the Howard Webbs and all this stuff, and
that is weird. It's gone weird.
The endless debate about is nobody see it like for such a rich league, 12 billion in broadcast deals. Is nobody got a helicopter to see? Look, this is bullshit. This constant debate, mindless debate, and tedious debate about refereeing decisions, as opposed to the quality of the football.
Do they do it in NFL?
They do. That's the.
But is there a big industry off the back of it? Like
Absolutely massive. There's a full-time rules official in each of the broadcast booths who they go to because the NFL, the rules are like whatever football rules, the NFL rules are absolute bullshit. Like it's, oh my God, explain that first there. And everybody is cheating in it. Like every single there's a foul on every single. So it's 11v11, and you're always fouling the opposition, and the definition of the tackle is almost as bad as GAA. So
I wonder, is it the Americanization of the Premier League? You've got the Todd Baileys, you've got the FSGs. Have they said, look, we want a bit more explanation for our international audience?
Maybe, but I actually wonder if the helicopter view is looking at this going, everybody's talking about our product as opposed to the cricket or the rugby or anything else, or the European football. It's like they're all talking, all Premier League, all the time. Everybody's angry. Go, sell.
Yeah, well, I've been...
Bye.
I'm hook, line and sinker in that, obviously. I'm the Patsy here. I'm the Oswald.
You can't get out. Because it is like it's for all that, like, but it is striking though sometimes. Like it is,
it's just boring.
It can be incredibly dull.
Oh, it's so long, isn't it?
It's so long.
Why did they stop this again? Was there a goal? I can't remember.
It's turning like rugby's great, but this is rugby now.
Yeah,
your TMOs and your
like the first half of the Man United game went up to 52 minutes. It's like.
Football, like there were, and I don't. I remember the Thierry Henry. We got 6 months of conversation out of that.
Yeah,
and it was
still banging on about it.
Yeah, but football on the whole was not broken before VAR.
So we're putting VAR in the red.
Absolutely, well,
conscious of time.
Personally, yeah.
All right, in the red. We can get through the next one here. It's just a nice note of it. Evan Ferguson. Did he get the full match? But he certainly started again.
70 minutes.
Yeah, started again for Roma. Assist in a 1-0 win against Pisa. It's all going great.
Well, he's holding the ball up well. He looks fit. He's holding the ball up well.
He looks strong.
He looks great. He looks fantastic. And I really just...
Classic number 9,
It's everything. I really hope it works out and he stays there for a while. Don't just come back. Don't unless he comes back and he's flying and he's goes straight into Brighton, whatever, and he's starting, great. But I would love it for him so much if this was just the path he starts going down. spend a few years away, then come back, whatever you want, 100 and Christ knows what it is then, like 80 million. But amazing. Now the unsettling thing is obviously that Troy Parrott's going to miss the 2 games, the 2 Ireland games. So we're not going to get to see him together.
Well, I don't know if he probably, because he likes his ass, he probably want to play 3 behind anyway. So it takes the decision out of his hands for Hamer now.
Possibly, quite possibly. You're right. But look, slow and steady, 2 great.
I said he did play the pair of them against Bulgaria.
I would normally consider Roma. They tend to fluctuate quite a lot, but there's 2 kind of solid good wins. So, I mean, for all the things that you're hoping he does well there, it would be even better if he does well there in a team that's kind of at the upper end of it. Like, they're probably not going to be able to challenge Inter, Napoli, whatever else, but like still, if they were going for Champions League, that'd be fantastic. Jeez, if he's central to something like that, it's...
I'm hopeful about Saturday. I'm hopeful. Look, you always are at the start of a World Cup campaign, but more than maybe I could have been. And that's one of the reasons.
Well, look, we'll put him firmly in the green. No question about it. It's gone great for him, and it's bodes well for us all. Up next,
Roma are 9-1 to win the league, right? So Napoli 11-8, Inter 11-4, Juve 7-1, Milan 7-1, Roma 9-1. It's not bad.
No, look, they've got a great manager. Great manager, going well, all good. It's been it's very early days. Let's not get carried away about it. But all in all,
stay fit.
It's been a smart kind of.
Great to see.
Looks like it's been a smart move.
So it's just in the last 4 minutes. Antony's move from Man United to Real Betis has been revived after the clubs agreed a £21 million sterling deal for the Brazil winger, who cost £81 million when he signed in 2022. So they're swallowing a loss of £60 million. A good old fashioned tax write off for Ineos, and 50% sell on clause. It's saying somewhere,
right?
So,
look,
good bit of business.
It's just great to get him out, get him gone. Okay, Ireland, back-to-back bonus point wins, quarter-final spot guaranteed. Bet Spain 43-27 at Franklin's Gardens on Sunday afternoon. It was funny chatting to Quinny, who'll be in about half an hour's time. It wasn't exactly a stellar performance against, I suppose, a team that you'd probably have expected to beat, but it was kind of a little bit of changes obviously in there, and all gears up towards next week anyway. But job done. And
they made a lot of changes for this game, and then the team played in fits and starts, which you would probably expect. They did give Spain way more of an opportunity to get back into the game. It was like 12-0 lead, and you're like, okay, this is going straight forward, and then suddenly it's 12-all, and you're like, not sure this is part of the plan. But like, I suppose we're all just waiting to see what happens next week when hopefully Aoife Wafer comes back and is fully fit, and I think probably has to start the game. This whole mood around, they're not going to play their best team. I suspect the best team will be locked and loaded from the start next week. And that's it. You've got to, everything has to go into that game. Because if you win that, then suddenly it's amazing. If you lose that, you're playing France in the next game. And France have beaten us traditionally over the last number of years. And they are further along than we are. So,
That's tough. No one's going to say it's going to be easy. But we do. Susanna was there for us, and I believe we have a video of her trying to catch up with Scott Bemand in the immediate aftermath.
There you go. You not enjoyed it?
I do. Not right now. To get a bonus point win at the start of the day, I'd have bit your hand off. Just because the magnitude and the importance of what it signifies. You can hear it in the other room now. Getting to a World Cup quarter final was something we wanted to achieve, and we wanted to achieve it at its first chance. It felt like a very flip-flop game by the end of it, where we'd get out, we'd give away a penalty, we're back in, and we're defending 10 minutes of pick and go. So we'll look hard at that about how we can stop it and what we need to do. There'll be some bits around, what a contest looks like, but we need to learn to manage that, and we need to learn to deal with it a bit better. So we've never professed to be the finished article, but look, scoring another 7 tries out there again today, it shows that we've got some firepower. It shows that we've got some tools that we can call upon. Just calling upon them consistently and more in the right space, which will let us go longer and deeper into these games. We've got our 2 wins. We've got 2 bonus point wins. All roads lead to Brighton now, and we want to go and challenge a World Cup contender.
Yeah. Colin Minogue did a version of Killer live on the Today FM stage as part of our electric picnic set.
Going in the green?
Oh yeah, he's in the green, absolutely. Yeah, electric picnic in the green.
Was it good?
Amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. A hard recommend. Now, it was very, very busy.
It's not my thing at all.
I heard that. I heard it's gone. They were saying that.
It was very busy. They were like,
Maroon,
there's
I've been
80,000
too
at it.
good.
I think there might have been more. But anyway.
We are
Glad you enjoyed.
fine. We have about a minute or two here. Tops.
Okay.
John, you're up next.
Ryan Moore goes to the orange because nobody's done anything wrong here. He's just broken his leg and has been riding with a broken leg for a while, which is unbelievable, really. As Aidan O'Brien described him, as made of concrete. I don't know if you like flat racing, folks, but even if you don't know much about it, this guy is different gravy to everybody else. He's the best jockey in the world of flat racing, in my view. He has just got the clock in his head. He knows where the fractions are. He's able to get a tune out of horses that other jockeys can't. He is the GOAT of all time. Lester Pickett style, Steve Cawthon, Walter Swinburne. He's just as good as any of them. The negative for Ballydoyle is that they're going to miss him for the Champions weekend now. This weekend, Leopardstown the Cur, they're going to miss him for the Arc de Triomphe Longchamp in Paris next month, and the Breeders' Cup then in California in November. So a big blow for Ballydoyle, but an opportunity. I know Wayne Lorden has suspensions. Sean Levy will probably get rides in the UK, but huge blow, and we wish Ryan all the best. He's a great jockey.
What does it mean, have clock in his head? What does that mean?
He's able to judge the fractions of when to produce the horse on the line. He knows where the line is more so than anybody else in the riding stakes in the field. He knows how to time a run with a horse to maximise that horse's possibility of winning a race. Sometimes jockey might go too soon. Sometimes jockey might go too late. He knows exactly where the thing is in his head. There's a horse called Delacroix, won a big race at it was the Carl Eclipse, I think, at Sandown, and there was an example of any other jockey would have lost him because he wouldn't have got the fractions right. Ryan has them in his head.
Right. How long will a broken leg like that keep you out?
Well, modern medicine, it's probably like I said, for the rest of the year. Probably talking a few months. Sadly.
Okay. Last up, and we're actually going to come back to the video of this later on that inspired it, but the Ryder Cup, we can probably discuss. We're going to discuss Matt Wallace later on because we're a little tight on time, but big announcement.
Let's put it in the green because it's the Ryder Cup, and we're going to have a beautiful mashed potato get in the hole experience in New York, of all places, this month, because we're now in September.
Yeah.
Beth Page Black, the course, Long Island. It's going to be the worst types, in some aspects, obviously minority aspects of American fandom, welcoming the European team. Now, Luke Donald has had 6 automatic qualifiers. Rory, Robert McIntyre, Rasmus Højgaard, and 3 English players, Tyrrell Hatton, Justin Rose, and Tommy Fleetwood. And then he's got 6 wildcard picks at 2 o'clock today. And it could be the case that it's nearly everybody. It could be 11 of the 12 that played in Rome and beat the USA by 5 points a couple of years ago. So like Shane Lowry surely should be one of them. John Ram, Sepp Straka, Matt Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland, and Ludwig Oberg are expected probably to be the 6 that are picked as wildcards.
All right, that is your performance rankings.